What up, nerds? And welcome to another headless episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 549, recorded on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Tonight, we are talking about Re-Animator from 1985, celebrating its 40th anniversary. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy, Rand Diesel. What's up, man?
Here's your meatball.
What's going on, baby? You ready to talk about a fucking all-timer slam dunk of a film?
I am.
I'm ready. That sounds sarcastic. Not even a little bit.
Not before I eat that meatball, though. I've been waiting all week for that meatball. I'm here for it.
All right, buddy. I take care of my own.
Thank you. Next up, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy, Soju. What's up, man?
What up? It's your boy, second-rate scientist Soju. Boys,
Nice.
If I had the secret to life, I'd use it to hit on bubble-headed co-eds. But unfortunately, it has escaped me.
You just have to do that au naturel.
I know. I just got to work with what I got.
You poor man.
Oh, man.
What are you going to do?
Cheat for Soju.
I know. I keep my just
Barbara.
fine for now.
Last but not least, joining us for the very first time on the show, everybody please welcome multi-talented musician, composer, and keyboard player for the super popular and incredibly successful band Under Oath, Chris Dudley. What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
I don't get a shaboy.
Shaboy,
Chris Dudley. It's
You have
shaboy,
to earn
Chris.
it, Chris.
Zero refrigerated cats over here. Just unrefrigerated cats. Ready for a good episode.
Good for you, man. Proud of you. Just regular ass alive cats. Love to see it.
Well, no, they're just not refrigerated. It's fine.
Okay. Just
I
rotting.
love living in
the open
filth.
air.
What can I say?
What is that smell?
You do you, man. You do you. Thanks so much for sitting in with us tonight, dude. Really excited to talk about this movie with you. And yeah, before we get into it, though, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping on our end. So we do have a poll currently posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this November. The theme for November is cornfields. We got 3 movies prominently featuring cornfields in them. They are Children of the Corn, Jeepers Creepers, and Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, Bob. How are those numbers looking? Halfway through Halloween. Our favorite month is already halfway gone, boys.
Dude, it's been so
Time's
busy
ticking
already.
down.
Holy cow. The numbers have changed significantly, actually. So last place, we got Children of the Corn with 23% of the vote. Second place, Jeepers Creepers with 36% of the vote. And now in first place, Freddy vs. Jason with 41% of the vote.
Children of the Corn gained a lot, actually. It was like dead last. Like
It was kind of dead in the water for a while.
Yeah.
Dead last.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get those votes in. You still got a couple weeks to do so. We'll see what we're talking about this November.
Okay.
Speaking of other Patreon news, we're dropping mini-casts every single Friday throughout the month of October. And we're dropping a brand new episode this Friday, the 17th, talking about Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 21.
Oh, yeah. I believe that was one of those pretty good ones. I know we're kind of in the range now where this is pretty hit or miss, but I think that was one of those pretty good ones.
Pretty good relative to this batch is still not too great.
It's kind of middle of the road.
We swayed you on the last episode, Randy. I listened back and you were swayed, so we'll see.
I'm easily suggestible, What can I say?
5 stars. So check that out, dropping this Friday over on Patreon. And of course, if you guys do join on Patreon, you get sent an RSS feed that you can drop into your podcatcher of choice, so you can listen to all those mini casts however you prefer to do so, not just on Patreon. Also, we have not 1, not 2, but 3 brand new Patreon supporters this week who you got to give some mad shouts outs to. Big gigantic thank you to the person simply known as the letter E. Also, big gigantic thank you to Chase E. And last but not least, a big gigantic thank you to Vintage Macaroni. These names, you gotta love them.
Chris, it's about to get weird, buddy.
I cannot wait. That's my favorite kind of macaroni, by the way.
The vintage.
I'm not into that fresh stuff. Give me the vintage.
Old cats, old macaroni. I see a theme here. But yeah, as is tradition around these here parts, we owe you guys the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to E, Chase E, and vintage macaroni.
Slap my ass.
Oh, wait.
Oh, God. Slap me in the ass.
And
one more.
Yes.
Oh, the Crypt Keep.
I was just like, we haven't had like a Patreon supporter sign up in like weeks. When we have a first time guest on, we got to do 3.
We were storing them up for the next guest.
We're storing them up. There we go. Everybody's signing up for that Halloween party coming up.
Yeah. Speaking of, that brings me to the next point. We got a word from a very special friend of ours talking about our 5th annual Chilloween party happening on the 24th. Randy, why don't you go ahead and roll that?
all right.
Oh, hi there. It's me, Sexy Dracula. Once again, the straight chilling crew made me an offer that I just could refuse. But I did not want to deprive you of me, Sexy Dracula. So I'm here to tell you about the Straight Chilling's 5th annual Chilloween party on Friday, October 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There will be a surprise film screening with commentary and drinking game, a costume contest, and horror trivia hosted by everyone's favorite spider monkey, Caitlin from Plug It Up Podcast. All you have to do is sign up on the Straight Chilling Patreon at any level, and you're invited to the sexiest graveyard smash of your life. Be sexy this Halloween season and come chill at Straight Chilling's 5th annual Chilloween party on Friday, October 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dost thou want to live chilliciously? Sexy Dracula out!
I pissed and I shit my pants.
Man, I can't believe we only got one more week with that guy.
I know. Chris, if you can make it through our housekeeping, you're set.
I was
Now you're
I
Shaboy.
almost couldn't keep it together because all I was thinking was Triumph the Insult Comic Dog dressed up as Dracula doing that whole thing. And that
High
mental
praise.
image is amazing.
Nope, that was the real sexy Dracula. As it turns out.
One and only.
Himself.
We got him on to do, our promos.
It cost a lot of money to do that. So
That Patreon money's got to go somewhere. As long as you're keeping it in the pod, that's good.
oh yeah.
Right into sexy Dracula's ample booty hole. All right, let's move on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all the housekeeping I got. Do you guys have anything else you need to plug?
I do have a couple things actually. So here in Seoul, we are also getting ready for our yearly Halloween party. So that's going to be Saturday, the 25th, October 25th. We're going to do our regular hosting horror trivia. And Sean is also going to be there from the Dark Side of Seoul. And he actually has a new book coming out. So it'll also be the release date of his book. And it's Ghost Stories here in Seoul. And I actually contributed a little bit to that. So I'm super excited for that to come out. Yeah. This is like his 4th book, I think. And we're hosting that at the DCC Cafe here in Seoul. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. So everyone come out, dress up in your costumes and play some games. And we'll cap it off with some horror movie trivia that night. And the only other thing I have is on the old sister podcast, we wrapped up our coverage of AM, the Arctic Monkeys' 5th album. So we've been on a little bit of a break since then, but we do have a very special episode coming out this week because now this was a harsh reality, but the Arctic Monkeys' first single, I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor, came out 20 years ago. And so this year we are doing a little anniversary episode for that. So just let that soak in there, boys. 20-year anniversary.
No.
So,
that's almost twice your age.
I know. We're talking about that over on Don't Believe the Hype. So check that out this week. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm all set. Bob, how's your house looking?
Looking squeaky clean.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about Re-Animator, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, this week's question is how many of those boxes do you have? Not if.
Yeah, for real.
Two, just two.
Just two, of course.
Just two.
Just I mean, a reasonable amount.
I think so.
That is comparatively restraint. I want to point out.
Bob is practiced in restraint. We know,
as you can see, clearly.
The evidence is in front of our eyes.
There's Arrow Video put this out on Blu-ray. There's also just like a regular Blu-ray you can get. It's on VHS and DVD. Very recently, for the 40th anniversary, this came out on 4K, and that's what I was holding up earlier at the beginning of the show. This is from Ignite Films, and then also Second Sight just announced they're putting it out on 4K as well. So you can get this a million times over. You can stream it. You can watch Re-Animator very easily. So get your hands on it.
Yeah.
1985, like I said, 40th anniversary. This is rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 24 minutes. This was directed by Stuart Gordon, based on a short story from H.P. Lovecraft, and that it was the screenplay was written by Dennis Paoli and William Norris. It stars Jeffrey Combs, Bruce Abbott, Barbara Crampton, a whole host of other lovely folks are in this. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. After an odd new medical student arrives on campus, a dedicated local and his girlfriend become involved in bizarre experiments centering around the reanimation of dead tissue. Gentlemen, have we seen this movie before, and would we recommend the folks at home check it out? Chris, why don't you kick us off, man?
I'm going to start this by saying that I've been watching horror basically nonstop since I was about 12, and somehow this has been on that list of movies that I had not seen yet. So I decided to lay down last night with my lovely wife and have a viewing of what I understood to be one of the best 80s horror films. And within the first 5 minutes, my wife says, "Hey, do we have to watch this movie?" And I said, "Absolutely." She rolled over, started reading a book. I watched the rest of it. I absolutely loved it. I have a lot of thoughts, but as far as a recommend, depending on the person, I would recommend it. For somebody like me, absolutely. For somebody who finds humor in just absurd gore, no brainer. Not a hard recommend across the board, but to somebody who can appreciate what I think this film does just excellently, yes, absolutely.
Hell yeah. Randy, what about you?
I have seen this. We have seen this together on numerous occasions. We have talked about it endlessly.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's a definite recommend for me, but likewise, like general recommend is hard for this one for a number of reasons, but probably the one that sticks out for me is there is just straight up some sexual assault in this that is quite grim, especially in comparison to some of the absolute objective silliness that else happens around it. So like if you're not down for that sort of thing, you're not gonna have a good time. If you're not down for hyper gore, you're not gonna have a good time. If you're not down for a lot of silliness, you're not gonna have the best time. I loved it as well. I still love it. And I think that for the most part, like pretty much anybody who's who would consider themselves a horror enthusiast, I think should at least check this one out. So yeah, it's a recommend for anybody who checks all those boxes or doesn't check any of those alternate boxes.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I'm actually, I'm gonna give like a kind of loose recommend as well. I think this is definitely a strong recommend for the horror heads. It's not one that I think transcends the genre, but this I'll get into it more after the spoiler and everything. But this hits this weird space of kind of like two intersecting things that kind of get under my skin a little bit when we talk about movies. So, you know, I there are some very slapsticky things that I really like, but obviously, like for people who love like Evil Dead or 2 and Dead Alive and those kind of movies, I think you'll really enjoy this. But sometimes that doesn't quite hit me just right. It depends. But I've also talked about this movies like What About Bob or maybe like Cable Guy or something, where someone just comes in and ruins your life. This is kind of sits in that space too, and it kind of bothers me on that level as well. I had never seen this. I didn't grow up with this, so I've only seen it when we've talked about it. So in our original episodes from like 11 years ago or something, that was like my first watch. So watching it again, it was I was kind of like processing that this time of like, what is it about this film that kind of bothers me a little bit? And it's that kind of element. So general recommend for the horror heads, of course. Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out? How many copies should we buy?
All of them. You know,
which ones are necessary purchases?
Juice, if he would have just listened to the bubble-headed co-ed, his life wouldn't have been ruined. Yeah, he just you got to listen to the ladies. Yeah, this is one I've seen quite a few times, and it's definitely an 80s classic in my mind. It really sticks out to me, I think largely because of the sort of like horror pedigree that's in here, and we'll talk about all that, and then also just the level of practical effects just kind of through the roof. I really love it, and I would generally recommend it to horror fans, not just not your grandma or like your aunt probably, or
my grandma's badass.
Come on, if your grandma's badass, then she's already seen it, so you don't need to recommend it anyway. Barring the trigger warning that Randy already laid out, it would be a recommend from your boy Bob. So that sounds like just kind of a recommend across the board with some slight caveats from the four of us here tonight.
Man, that's a rarity.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. So, we are going to be spoiling the shit out of Re-Animator, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, did you type up a plot synopsis this week?
Nah, just skip this week,
No, just skip this week.
Just
Rob's doing this from memory. What are you fucking kidding?
Whatever. You guys know. You guys know what happened. All right. Yeah, I got it typed up. I'll blast through it as quickly as I can. Here we go. All right. At the University of Zurich in Switzerland, Herbert West brings his... And that's it. Roll them credits. He brings his dead professor, Dr. Hans Gruber, which is a name I think we're all familiar with, back to life. There are rather intense side effects, and Wes ends up having to leave the country. We cut to Herbert arriving at the Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts. To further his studies, he rents a room from fellow student Dan Kane and converts the basement into his personal lab. Dan comes home to find his cat dead in the refrigerator, and Wes demonstrates the power of his reagent by bringing Dan's cat back to life. Twice. The cat is extremely violent, forcing Dan to kill the cat. Yet again, Dan's fiance and daughter of Dean Halsey, Megan, walks in as this occurs and is horrified. Dan tries to tell the dean about what West has achieved, and he calls them both madmen and bans them from the school. Dan and West sneak into the school morgue to test the reagent on a cadaver, and it is just as violent as the cat. Dean Halsey walks in and is killed by the reanimated corpse. Wes kills the corpse, but jumps at the chance to reanimate a freshly dead corpse and does so with Dean Halsey's body. Megan yet again walks in on the scene and is horrified. Dr. Halsey's colleague and fellow researcher Dr. Hill puts Halsey's body in a padded room for observation and gives him a lobotomy. During the procedure, he discovers Halsey is actually dead and has been reanimated. Dr. Hill attempts to blackmail West for secrets to his discovery so he can take full credit. West tricks him into looking into a microscope, and West knocks him out and decapitates him with a shovel. West then reanimates Hill's head and body separately because he's never done parts before. The body knocks West out and takes his head and the reagent notes back to Hill's office. Dr. Hill reveals the laser lobotomies allow him to control other reanimated corpses telepathically. He forces Dr. Halsey to collect his daughter Megan and bring her to him. Megan passes out and awakens to find her naked body strapped to a table in the morgue. Turns out Dr. Hill had an obsession with Megan, and his decapitated body begins to place his severed head between her legs. At that time, Dan and Wes barge in. Dan frees Megan as Hill reveals he's reanimated and lobotomized several other corpses in the morgue. A brawl ensues, but Megan's voice awakens something in her father, causing him to fight the other corpses as Dan and Megan make their escape. During the chaos, Wes injects Hill with a lethal overdose of reagent, causing his body to mutate and further attack. Wes screams for Dan to save his work, and as he's being pulled away by entrails, Dan grabs Wes' notes, but before they can actually leave the building, Megan is strangled and killed by a corpse. Dan takes her to the hospital but can't revive her. Desperate, he injects her with the reagent, and as the screen fades to black, we hear Megan awaken with some screams. Roll them credits.
I think it went well at the end there.
Yeah, Megan came back to life.
It all works out in the end. You know?
Probably worked out there.
He's fine. He's fine. So yeah, like I said, the kind of horror pedigree in this really stands out. This is Barbara Crampton had done plenty of acting before this, but this was actually her introduction to the horror genre, and she's gone on in the rest of her career to like really champion the genre. We've got Jeff Combs in this, who has done a lot of genre work as well, and I think he was like fucking born to play the role of Herbert West in this. Produced by Brian Yuzna, scored by Charles Band, directed by Stuart Gordon, who did Castle Freak and From Beyond and Body Snatchers, and there's just like such a rich history of like people that were in the genre and then also went on to just continue to champion the genre. And I think that's really cool that they all sort of joined forces to make this sort of like classics 80s standout movie. A lot of big names there, though. Kind of cool.
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, old Brabra, she's around like every time we're at Overlook, it seems like, hanging out and like just putting out the good word about the horror genre.
She's just hanging out. Like, she loves it.
She's a real sweetheart, you know? So
she's one of those must protect at all costs people.
Yeah, really, truly.
Would agree.
And Jeff seems like a nice guy. I've never met him or whatever, but like, yeah, there's just, I mean, people that have no problem hanging out and, embracing the genre. I really love that.
I got to meet Jeffrey Combs in Orlando in June. He's extremely sweet. He spent like a ton of time with everybody that came up to his table to talk to him. And highly recommend meeting either or both of them if you get the chance. They're both very, very nice people.
Chris, as a first-time watch, do you like the kind of slapsticky, over-the-top, ridiculous kind of gore and stuff going on here?
Yeah, that tends to not be my like ultimate wheelhouse. Like if I'm not like looking for the next like craziest gore thing or anything like that. But once like I said, within the first 5 minutes, when you see Dr. Hans Gruber getting his eyeballs pushed out, like immediately I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. All right, I'm in. Like I was immediately on board. And what's funny is in my head I was like, Hans Gruber. I was like, I know that. And then immediately I was like, oh yeah. And I thought for sure that they would have taken the name from Die Hard, but I was like, this seems older than Die Hard, and I haven't looked into that connection, but it can't be a coincidence. So yeah, that was
you're
very
right.
Interesting.
This predates Die Hard by about 3 years. So
yeah,
I mean, Hans Gruber, that's just the name of the 80s.
Yeah, Bruce Willis just really loved it. He insisted. He insisted.
Yeah, probably as a first time watch, one of the first things that caught me like wicked off guard was the score in the beginning. Yeah. I was like, wait a second, like, are they just doing that? Like the fact that it's just just the Psycho score, basically. Yeah. And even my wife, like, she doesn't know a whole lot about movies in general, but she was like, "Are they allowed to do that? That's like that's the music from Psycho, right?" I was like, I don't know.
No, Charlie Band wrote that music. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're operating under the Vanilla Ice model, where if you add a little extra drum beat in there or whatever, it's a new song.
No, yeah, it's crazy too, because we just covered the Treehouse of Horror that had a lot of it had the Psycho score in there, and as I was playing, I was like, we just covered this. So I was like, this is wild. Yeah. And also too, it doesn't really fit really what's going on anyways. I think it's a very weird, disconnected, like sound that's going on.
I
here.
don't know. I think it's great.
You think it fits?
Like,
it was kind of
disconnected from like the pedigree of that song outside of this film, but like I really like that intro and like the title sequence, and like it really sets the color. It's like all like these floating medical illustrations and stuff. I don't know. I think it kind of works for this what's essentially a deeply 80s Frankenstein schlock movie. I kind of dig it.
Yeah. It's kind of
there's also
it's
a part
also
of
like
me.
just a great. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
One thing that's crazy, we're in the next within the next month, we're going to be doing a lot of Frankenstein-esque coverage, because we're doing this. We're doing the original Frankenstein, and then Del Toro's Frankenstein is coming out next month. So
but we're not doing that.
We're not. Yeah, no. We are. It's on the schedule. Okay. We are. But yeah, it's. I think of all the kind of Frankenstein-esque things, though. I don't know. This is still one of my least favorite, and I think it's weird. I know it's like a cult classic, but not growing up with it. One of the things that kind of like bothers me is that everyone's such a son of a bitch, and the goofiness is there, but it's not so outrageous, it's like not so completely silly to where like a decent amount of it is not necessarily played straight, but the tone is not so wacky, not even like as wacky as, Evil Dead 2 or Dead Alive gets. I think they still play it like kind of straight,
I think
which I like in some places, but it's kind of weird.
Herbert is really the one that's chewing the scenery, like really hamming it up, because he enters into these people's lives and they're mostly like on the straight and narrow, and he just like is bringing that cheese to it. So like if it's a scene where like he's not predominantly in it, it does feel pretty straight, and like the way he delivers it is pretty like he could go bigger, but he doesn't need to. I don't think so. I get what you're saying. Like the jokes are there, but maybe you're not like getting hit over the head like you would in Evil Dead 2 or Dead Alive or something like that. It's not that big.
I don't know.
Well, to that point, because like Bruce Campbell's the one who carries like the wackiness of it, but this character is like so. He's not supposed to be that way. Like I know he comes off as that way, but the character himself is so like I don't like not straight laced, but he's just like so hyper focused that it's just like the situations that he's in. Whereas like Bruce Campbell is like going fucking wacky and crazy, and this guy is trying to like be the straight scientist, and like we gotta. I don't know. He's just like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it was played for menace. When like looking at him, it was almost like, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, you're a little weird, but I don't know if I'm feeling menace from this necessarily.
The pencil snapping supposed to terrify you.
Pencil snapping, the way he does it, kind of in such a weird, like, I don't know. I don't know. Petty. I don't fully agree.
Pettiness. Yeah. Go ahead.
That's the thing. Is like he's just a petty little bitch. The whole movie. Like that's totally true. And like I don't think he's supposed to be like that's the key difference for me. Is like Bruce Campbell in any of those, and the first two Evil Dead movies is at least starting point an everyman. He's an insert character for you, the character to like get along with or whatever. Not the case with Herbert West. He's chewing the scenery from the beginning in his own way, like taking things heightened, a little bit heightened from ground level, and then increasing that quotient as the movie goes on, and the movie kind of matches with him. I think that works, but it's a little bit harder to like. I understand what you're saying though about him. Like he's not a good person, so like him being the focal point of this, he really has to carry a lot of weight and also somehow still be likable. likable enough to want to watch him. You know what I mean? And I think he pulls that off, but I couldn't blame you for not feeling that way. Like likable and enough, likable in the terms of like, I just like seeing him on screen. I just want to see him do more things. I want to see him react with absolute condescension towards his objective superior in his medical university and stuff. This guy who escaped, who basically killed his former mentor, snuck into this new university across the world, and somehow finds it impossible to avoid calling his new professor a plagiarist to his face in front of the dean. Like, fuck?
When they have that conversation, the bullshit derivative plug played in my head.
Bullshit. And I also love the idea that he sees an ad for a roommate and he waits until 10 o'clock at night and he goes knocks on the door and then just holds the paper up.
Doesn't even knock on the door. Waits for somebody to open the door to him. He's such
standing there for hours.
Yeah, he's just standing there. And that is the thing. It's because Dan is the everyman. And I feel so bad for Dan, I think, really, is because this takes place maybe over the period of 2 days, and just from him signing on as his roommate, the cat's dead and stuff. And it's so infuriating and it pisses me off that the cat is rabid. At no point does this ever work the way he thinks it's supposed to. And then he's immediately going to go inject human bodies.
He's an insert for Dr. Frankenstein.
That's the comedy.
He's supposed to be wildly obsessed and irrasill.
Yeah.
But to an extreme. And as we cover more Frankenstein properties coming up, we'll see that. Maybe that's taken now. But Frankenstein is more, I don't know. He's more of a son of a bitch than Frankenstein is, I think. I
think they are on the same level, to be honest.
He just keeps
the fact that he was willing to. Yeah, the fact that he was willing to inject the dead. Was it him that injected the dead cat? Or was that?
Oh, yeah.
Was that,
he did just to prove his point. Yeah.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah. It's all right, I'm about to do the worst thing ever. Just to prove a point.
It's so mangled.
But the thing is, he's not a rational person. He's not a moral person. He is only driven by his egomaniacal need to be the smartest guy in the world who conquered death, to defeat nature. He is that's what Dr. Frankenstein's whole thing is.
Yeah, this is just way less romantic, but.
Yeah, and it's just way more 80s. That's really what it is.
80s Frankenstein, for sure.
Yeah, if you're going to be a son of a bitch in the 80s, you really got to step up your game and be a real son of a bitch. It's a shocker that he wasn't doing lines the entire movie or some shit.
I do think it's really funny. As soon as something dies, you're like, oh, he's bringing it back to life, baby. He's going to do it. You just know it's a matter of time. And when he realizes, after he chops off Hill's head and you see him set it in the pan, and the look on his face when he realizes, I'm gonna bring his fucking head back. That realization he has is just very funny.
I did like that aspect where he puts it on the paper thing, to keep it. And I will say that's where the also too, I was surprised at how, in my mind, I knew that the effects were a big part of this. But I was thinking that they were going to be a lot more outlandish, whereas actually it was it's very impressive, actually, and one of the best parts of it for sure. But it's played a lot more realistic. The stuff hanging out of the head, and even at the very beginning when they're in the class and he's showing people how to take the scalp off and scoops the brain out, and it's just sitting there, and there's the hole to the spine. I was like, whoa, that was giving me the heebie-jeebies, man.
Yeah, and I also feel like they do a really good job in this. There was a couple points, one when they're in the classroom and he's lifting the head up and he's cutting behind, they do a really good job of setting up the gross thing before showing the gross thing. There's that moment. There's the moment when they're fighting one of the reanimated corpses and he ends up going through the guy's back, but he holds the drill up first to the camera, is okay, and then he walks toward the camera, and you're oh, plenty of those moments where you're just oh no, don't do that. And they set those up so perfectly. And for the most part, the effects do carry so much of the film, but they are generally small scale effects. Like that one with the head was great. The the little reanimated dead cat was really good. Obviously all the head stuff with Dr. Hill at the end was insane, but it's not like these grand scale set pieces. It's just like, okay, we have a head, we have a cat, we have these smaller things that are just done really well.
I couldn't agree more. Like that's one of the things that makes the effects stand out. It's that it's not the bombastic nature of what is happening on screen for most of it, or what the effect is supposed to be. It's the effectiveness of whatever effect they happen to be showing. So like little things that I noticed that just make me fall in love with this is like, for example, the one thing I always go back to is that first body that they reanimate. When he comes back to life and he stands up, you can see like the bruising and pooling on the back of his body from laying in that one position for however long. Like little things like that. It's like somebody was actually involved with this movie that knew a little bit of something about post-mortem, like about what happens to the body, and it shows. And like the thing, like the pulling the scalp back or whatever, you're totally right, Chris. Like the little bits of anticipation make those cells so much better than what happens in lesser movies that are doing similar effects, where they have to do hard cuts in order to sort of like conceal the edges a little bit. They don't conceal the edges; they show the full procedure, and that really makes all the difference. It does.
There's another kind of bizarre coincidence with like this and like classic 80s action movies. The first reanimated corpse, well, I guess the second, not the doctor at the very beginning, but the one that they go find in the morgue and bring him back to life. Yeah, that guy, the dude that was playing that dead person in the morgue is Arnold Schwarzenegger's like body double in a ton of 80s action horror movies,
including Terminator.
Movies. Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
He
looks just like him.
Yeah,
so he is jacked. Like
I did like at the end where all the corpses had like it was another cool way for them to just kind of show off some of the effects of like one is kind of like burned or whatever, and then they do a lot of like cool fun effects there. I like that scene where they all get up,
they pop up at the same time. Dr. Hill, really cool. Like that's a great reveal where he's like, "I've got a plan too," and it's like, it's indescribable horrors that are happening all of a sudden.
I also love that they kind of seed the burned guy earlier on when he's walking through the morgue and there's a hand laying off and he like it's the burned hand and he like moves it back and then it pops back down. That was also one of the funniest parts of the movie for me, because if you look at that burned body that has the hand out, the dude is just breathing really hard, really fast, the corpse. And it's not even like, if you nitpick that sort of stuff, you can be like, oh, like, he couldn't hold his breath for 2 minutes or whatever. But it's not like he's like breathing at a normal rate. If you go back and watch, he's like he's so nervous that this is his time on camera. It's just, for me, completely took me out of it. I just laughed really hard.
Got to get that hand.
Notice that. That's hilarious.
See, I think that's kind of the difference, though, too. Like, I really do love Dr. Hill as this villain, because he is perfectly evil, and that it's kind of like the perfect combination of like, yes, I it's okay to hate this guy, and I'm waiting for him to die or for him to get his comeuppance, but then also it combines the cool effects and stuff. He's got the head and any time, especially, it's really fucked up, but like when he's like licking on her, the blood starts to smear on her skin too, and he's like holding it, but then I really do. Part of the kind of slapsticky nature that works for me is when like the head goes in to the morgue and it's the fake head and the ear kind of falls up and it's got a mask on it and stuff. Yeah, it's like bumbling
like the
around.
Three Stooges or some shit.
Yeah, that's kind of funny to me. Awesome. And one of the few moments where they're playing it up really goofy, but it kind of hits that tone well for me. But I love him as a villain, and combining that with the cool effects with his head being severed, I think is definitely one of the highlights of this film too.
I read a thing today. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris. You're good.
Oh, I was just gonna say I read a thing today about David Gale playing that character, and basically like the severed head was, you know, obviously the pinnacle of his character, and in order to get it correct, he ended up I'm assuming this has been talked about ad nauseum, but he shaved his head and wore a wig because they couldn't get his hair to look proper on the fake head. So yeah, before they even started filming, he shaved his head and wore a wig for the whole shooting so that it could look exactly the same when his head was severed.
Man, that's the most I've ever felt anything but negativity towards Dr. Hill on anything. He's such a repugnant piece of shit, and it takes a lot to top fucking Herbert West in this movie in terms of being a piece of shit. But he's just like, he's Dr. West with like knowingly and completely embracing his lack of scruples and lack of principle, and just like same level of ambition, not enough brilliance, so just conniving theft. I don't know. They really set him up perfectly, and then he does all the shit he does, and it just reveals that stuff blatantly and makes it like it's just great. He's a really solid villain. Could have done without the stuff with Barbara Crampton. Ultimately, I don't know what that, like, narratively, I don't know what that totally serves. Like, even his like a pre-existing obsession with her or whatever, it doesn't seem like that has any bearing on anything except to make her something, like make her a body to exploit, like basically later in the film, which is a shame. Because like I really love Barbara Crampton. I think she does a decent job with the rest of the film. She is the voice of reason for a while, but like that creates tension between him and Dr. Kane, Dan Kane. And I don't like, they don't really play with that at all. It's all about his rivalry with West. So why is like his obsession with Dan's girlfriend hyper relevant? I feel like, I don't know. It feels kind of backwards.
I think he's just a creeper. It just makes him even easier to hate.
It
like
does.
There's that weird scene where he's having dinner, where Hill and Megan's dad, the dean, are having dinner, and then Megan and Dan come in, and he's like, "Hey, do you think it's a good idea for them to be dating?" And he's like, "No, you guys don't need to go out. Why don't you just stay here with us and study?" He's like really inserting himself into this family's business, and it's none of his own business whatsoever.
Well,
he's got this very bizarre obsession with her.
And also he gives that like toast where he's like, to what's her name, to Megan, the obsession of all who come across her path, or some shit like that. And it's
wild,
like, if I'm that woman's, if somehow that woman's father is a Puritan, they say, that hates like all this stuff, but he's willing to sit there and listen to his subordinate like basically make eyes at his fucking daughter right in front of his face, be like, "Hey man, you need to cool it the fuck out." Like,
but also
stop
too,
talking
that
about my
does
daughter
add
that
to
way.
the dynamic, to be fair, because you know the first introduction we get to him is he's singing his praises because he's like, "Oh, this is our grant getter, you know, Dr. Hill or whatever." So it does kind of add to that dynamic. But I do agree that it is a little strange toward the end because they've already given you so much for West and Hill to be at odds with each other. You know, it talks down to him. He says he's a plagiarist and all those things. And so they're already kind of battling it out. And then you have to add in, and then you have to add in the aspect of Kane too, which just kind of throws it off. It is quite unnecessary, and it feels like one of those, unfortunately, it does feel like one of those living in the moment kind of times, like, oh, this is what's
like a
hot
product
in the
of
80s.
its time.
You gotta throw the nudity in there, you know, the corpsman of it all.
Want to see TNA, so we're gonna put it in here.
Yeah. I will say as a first time watch, like that whole section, like when she's on the table, it seemed to kind of come out of left field. I was like, wait, what are they doing and why? And like it seemed like a just kind of like a flex of like, all right, now watch what we're gonna do, you know. And it's like, oh, you don't think we'll do this, we'll do it. Like narratively, I was like, I get that he made some like creepy things, some creepy comments toward her, but that seemed to not really make a whole lot of sense. It
just didn't feel earned, right? Like
no, not at all. And I did read that A bunch of the cast apparently had commented on the fact that Stuart Gordon's wife had divorced him like pretty quickly after she saw the film, and they had said that they thought that was part of it.
I can believe that. I mean,
which is weird. Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. The scene is wild. Like from an effects standpoint, it's like obviously just like wild, and like as things are going on, like I'm just sitting there like, oh wait, is he going? Oh, is he doing that? Oh no, he's doing that. And then it got as far as it got, and I literally was like this, just hands on my face, like, oh no. And
and you know, that's not the kind of horror that I ascribe to. I'm not down for that, especially in a movie. The thing is, like, if that exists in a movie that properly prepares that moment, that properly takes the time to make that moment sell, not just like in terms of like how graphic it is or whatever, but like in terms of the story and all those things, then that's one thing. But this movie doesn't, and it's also, that's couched in the middle of it's played for laughs almost, because it is the most hilarious thing in this movie, which is the headless guy carrying his own head around like a fucking goober. Like, it's silly shit, and then all of a sudden it is just sexual assault. Like, it just is that. It's very upsetting in a way that's not horrific to me.
They do have another scene where like they're going through the Megan's file that Hill has, and they find like a locket of her hair. So I mean, they do build up to it in some way. And there was also some stuff that was removed from the movie where they were going to have several scenes with Hill sort of using his telepathy on people that he had not lobotomized, and they kind of got rid of that stuff. And there's another sequence in the movie that's where you can tell that that's what's supposed to be happening in the scene, but they don't actually explain it at all, where Hill goes down to the basement and he's talking to Wes, and he's like, "You will give me your research." And then he just does. He just gives him everything. And he's got these like weird big eyes. Like, and it's just kind of a bizarre moment that I think is left over from all that telepathy stuff that they ended up largely removing from the movie. So I think if they left that stuff in, it probably would have ramped up to that moment a little better. But like, I do get what you're saying.
That would make it worse, honestly.
Jarring. Oh, okay.
I hear what you're saying, but I think it would make it worse because like, then, okay, to put myself in the mind of this headless rapist for a second, if you can control people's actions with your mind, he's just letting this woman scream in objective terror as he's doing the worst imaginable shit to her. I think that makes it much worse.
Well, I think that's another thing, you know,
as a viewer, certainly.
I mentioned it at the beginning too, but it's this aspect too. It's because the tone, sometimes the tone sits in a weird place for me, because West is always kind of over the top, even though his demeanor as a character is a little off. Like I said, he's not the wacky Bruce Campbell in that sense, but I really feel bad for Megan, because throughout the film, she's mourning her father, for instance, and she's just like, "Oh, daddy," and like, "Oh my God, my father's dead," and all of these terrible things keep happening to her, and then it just comes to the point to where she's literally just dragged down into a basement and you know, assaulted in that way. And I think it feels like fucking mean throughout, like the movie. It keeps pushing where it's like, "Oh, we're gonna be doing this wacky kind of stuff," but for Megan, none of it's wacky. It's just mean and fucking gets worse and worse and worse. And then it comes to this place. I'm like, God damn, dude, I feel terrible for Megan.
She is like, we've talked about the woman in the fridge before. She is definitively that character. She's the character that is there to make you like her, that is a love interest to somebody that you are meant to be a central figure of the story that you're supposed to care about. And then she's supposed to have tragic, horrible, fucked up things happen to her so that you can feel something. Regardless of whether or not she was like a fully realized character, or like if she was given a real chance or given agency of any kind. That's what she's there to do, is to make you feel bad. And it's a cheap way of getting that done. And you know, like, honestly, I can overlook a lot of that for a silly schlocky movie. But when you kind of cross that exploitation line for me, that's when it becomes like, I don't want this part of it. And I have to make because I do still love this movie a whole lot, like I really like have to carve that whole thing out and call it like this is the section that we don't approve of. It's the truth. Like the way that she's written is not great. She performs it well, and like she's the voice of reason. That's the only like
I say she's the only
character
smart
trait
one
I
in
can
the
give
movie.
her.
Like she immediately knows
like,
what's going on. So I mean, at least she's not just there for the molestation, but
I mean she is, but like a voice of reason that doesn't require somebody who gets sexual assaulted and then like horribly murdered. Like I don't know, she's kind of the heart of the film and also a non-entity at the same time, and I think narratively that's kind of a problem for a movie when a movie goes as dark as that goes. When it stays light, I can be fine with it. It can be cartoonish. It's just the crossing of that threshold that makes it a little bit problematic for me.
Yeah.
Cool. What else do you want to talk about?
So this is where I thought they could have like played it up a little for the goofy tone a little bit more. Is the guard who is in the basement? Because at one point he's just reading like a nudie mag, and he's oh, it's break time to go take a break. And I'm like, God damn, dude! Like what? Like
he's just going to smoke a cigarette.
Oh yeah, of course.
I love him like seeing like there's this moment where I don't remember who it is or what it is, but like some bloody shit who gets thrown out the door past him and hits the wall, and he just kind of looks over and it's like fuck this and runs out.
It was a head.
I don't know. Was it a head? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like it just makes me laugh. That character, like, yeah, I think they made good use of him, but not great use of him in terms of like comedy. They could have gone one step further with him, I think. I
feel like there could have been a little bit more of that if you wanted to hit that really goofy tone, that schlock.
If they had done like even if they had done like the Thing line where he's just like, you gotta be fucking kidding, like a one-liner like that,
an 80s one-liner.
Yeah, it would have been perfect. Just if he had seen that and just been like literally just looked at camera and been like, fuck this shit, and run out, then I'm like, great, like character fulfilled in my mind. But like he was pretty close though. I say that as a negative, but like ultimately I think that he was pretty funny. Like he did the majority of that work. I don't know. What else is going on in this movie? Anybody else?
I don't know. I mean,
I think one more thing I definitely want to talk about anyways was like the entrails scene at the very end where like Wes screams overdosed and like double fist the reagent into Hill, and then his guts like explode out of his chest. That was a very The Thing moment that I dug quite a bit, honestly. That was a practical effects standout moment for me.
For sure. That was kind of like the like most heightened thing outside of the walking headless guy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of played for laughs. I guess they kind of both are kind of played for laughs a little bit.
I think the coordinated rising of the corpses, like that was one of the funnier things of the movie to me. Like I forget what his line is right before that. It's like, oh, I have a plan too, or something like that. And then they all get up. I just immediately, I was taken out of it in not a bad way, where I was thinking, okay, what was this discussion that he had with all the corpses ahead of time? I was like, all right, guys, here's the line. When I say this, you go nuts.
The signal is, I have a plan.
Wait, I'm in a body bag. I can't really hear clearly.
Get a job in a sideshow.
Now, one thing I will say is that I had forgotten how this movie ended. And the ending is impactful, but more again, where it's kind of in that weird balance of tones, the idea that Dan now everybody has gotten ripped apart, blown apart, killed. Literally within 2 days, his life is completely fallen apart. And even if he lives, I mean, like his girlfriend has died. He's, going to jail or, something terrible. But, him just having a little bit more of that serum left and injecting it into her in the screams or whatever. I thought that was a pretty solid ending, impactful kind of ending.
The fade to black. I mean, and then you just see the needle. And her scream.
Honestly, it is a good end to a character arc because the first time we see him, he is performing like basically fruitless
Trying to save
CPR
someone
on a
no
dead
matter
body.
what.
Yeah.
He somehow winds up in this horrible situation where he can bring people back to life. It's very enticing to him. He's enchanted by it in some way. And at the end of the day, it costs the love of his life, say her life. And he's in that exact same position, in that exact same bed, the same gurney, and has this one last tool to pull, even though he knows the tragedies that are going to befall him. He's already kind of like too deep down the pipeline of buying Herbert West's bullshit to turn her away. Like he's lost at that point. And like he's been like, I don't know, like been through the ringer to the point where like any sort of rationality he might have had has gone out the window. And that's kind of the frustrating thing about Dan in general, is that he puts his rationality aside so much. And I don't know, like I think I would have liked to see him struggle with some of these decisions a little bit more. If I was gonna like really critique this story, I think because it is like outside of a few elements so silly, I can overlook that sort of thing, and I do. But like if I was to want more out of this movie in a number of ways, that would be one of them. I would like to see more of Dan like struggling to accept what Herbert West is offering him or whatever. He kind of goes along. He's a non
immediately.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he is enchanted. That's the role he's supposed to play, but it doesn't seem like he struggles with it. He just sort of falls into it, and then is it coerced into it, or vice versa? I can't remember what order it comes in, but like he's threatened to keep Herbert West around. His cat dies, and he's proven this thing that is like pretty groundbreaking, but very flawed, and he has like no ability to turn to this little creep and say, no, you're not going to fucking like bring dead people back to life if it's going to make them objectively like horrible monsters that want to kill people. That's not a good thing to do. I don't know. I would have liked a little bit more
escaping, death is something that I think everybody on some level can get behind. Yeah, I mean, just your own mortality. Yeah, absolutely. But I do like that it's set up like you were highlighting the very first scene and the very last scene, the beginning of the movie when he's doing CPR endlessly because he cannot accept the loss of life, which is the point of the movie. The nurse next to him says, like, keeps telling him to stop performing CPR, and he just won't. She's like, a good doctor always knows when to stop. And at the end of the movie, he does stop CPR and then whips that needle out. So he's like, he didn't want to stop then, he won't stop now. So like, that's always kind of been in him, and I think that's just a very human thing to like obviously fear death and want to escape it. So like, I get that he goes along with it, but like it is, you do have to suspend your disbelief a little bit because he's seen the horrific outcomes of what does.
Yeah, that was probably the thing that struck me the weirdest about the end is he knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is not getting her back. Like really all he's wanting to see is her body move again. Like, cause he's seen it how many times now that once you get injected, you're moving, you're half conscious, but there's, it's not that person or that cat. And the idea that he's like, all right, this is going to be the thing unless he, I don't know, that logic just seemed really weird. I was almost like disappointed that he would do that to her. I thought you loved her. Like you're gonna do this to her.
That's the thing is like maybe that's what it is. Is like we don't see him turn like his sanity. I feel like in order to justify that very poetic and I think like interesting ending to that character, I would like to see him lose more of himself, and they do a little bit of that. He breaks a little bit, but I feel like they don't like either it's because his performance is more subdued than everything else that's happening around him, or it's because he isn't given enough time to do it. For whatever reason, it seems like an afterthought, and then that happens, and it doesn't feel justified. If I was to take his character arc and just watch that minus everything else, and just watch what happens to him, maybe it would be a little different. I don't think it would be better, obviously, but it's just like, it just seems like there's not enough meat to really justify what they're doing at the end. And it's a feeling-based thing where I just wish there was a little bit more to get us there. That's it.
Just go watch Frankenstein.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil or the sequel or jump off of this one, but just in that aspect, I haven't seen it. Does it pick up on this? Like what happens to her in the sequel, or no?
I actually haven't seen the sequel. Bob,
I haven't seen it in a while. Bob,
copies of it.
Yeah,
I don't remember what happens to Barbara.
Bride of Re-Animator. I can't remember if the bride is Barbara or if it's a different woman. It's
a different woman.
It's definitely. Sorry, I meant Megan. I know it's a different actress playing the character. I don't know if it's the same character of Megan or
I feel
if
like maybe it's
different.
her heart or something like that.
That might be it. Yeah, because it is more of like an assemblage of parts as opposed to one body.
Okay.
It's I would say if you enjoyed the first one, it's definitely worth a gander. It's very heavy on the practical effects again. It's got some wild stuff in it. It's
I don't
thinner on the plot and more heavy on the practical effects. So if you're into that kind of thing, then yeah.
Is it goofier?
Yeah, it's goofier.
Yeah.
It's also like it is still like pretty like heartbreaking at the end of it. Come to think of it, but it's
I need to rewatch this movie.
It's worth a gander if you enjoyed this, I would say. Fellas, is there anything else we would like to discuss before we go ahead and rate this movie?
No.
All right. Let's go ahead and do it. Out of 5, Chris, why don't you kick us off, man? How do you feel about Re-Animator?
I'm doing a solid 3.5 on my end for just practical gore, fun, ridiculousness, understanding what it is, and also recognizing that if I had grown up on this movie and I had seen it way younger, my score would probably be way higher. Giving myself that, but I'm saying 3.5.
A respectable 3.5 from Chris. Rand Diesel, how do you feel?
Well, I am the case study of the guy that kind of grew up on this movie. So, I looked back and we have reviewed this before in our earlier years, in our early run, and I gave this a 3.5. I don't think that's sufficient for my affection towards this movie anymore. It's only grown with time. Yeah, me too, honestly. I was a little bit surprised, but I was trying to be objective, and I'm just past that. Objectivity's for the birds.
After 12 years.
I mean, yeah, it is your score, nobody else's. So
I'm going to play it loose. I'm loose. So, I think that this movie... I think this movie is like it's just one of my go-to films for like schlock silliness, and like absurd over the top performances, and I just really love it on so many levels. I've spent a lot of this episode critiquing it, trying to be fair about that, but when it comes right down to it, I just have such affection for this movie that despite its flaws, and there are a few, I just really love it. I just think that it scratches so many itches. It gives cool practical effects that are well considered in terms of like physiology and like prep. Like all these positives that we talked about are true. I think the score is cool. I think that the movie just never relents. It is always moving and always keeping me engaged. Fucking Herbert West, goddamn Jeffrey Combs is so magnetic to watch. He is so fun to watch him just be a petty little bitch to everybody. He's what the modern era might call the young children now refer to as cunty to a lot of people. And I find that term really fun to watch.
Oh yeah, that's pretty fresh.
Yeah. I love sniveling too. Snivelling's great.
Well, no, I don't know. Sniveling implies patheticness, and I feel like this dude is way too smug to be that pathetic. I don't know. We'll get to that. But ultimately, I just really love watching this in spite of all of its flaws. It's got a huge place in my heart. So I'm going to give it a 4.5, and I'm going to ride with that.
Riding with a 4.5 from Rand Diesel. Juice, how do you feel?
Yeah, I didn't grow up with this, and I totally get why it's a cult classic, and I appreciate a lot of things about it, but it's not like, even though we covered it early on, I think maybe I'd seen this one other time. So this is probably my third watch, and I never really craved to watch it. I do remember that first time watch that Barbara Crampton scene like really sticking out in my mind and like really leaving kind of like a bad spot in my mind. But watching it this time and knowing it was coming up, I did really, the effects carry a lot of the weight. West is not as endearing to me, like even like entertaining to watch, but it is a good performance. And I like the ending around this time because it was just more tragic and poetic. And I just felt like this time around, I was like, the tones are really a little off balance for me. Everyone talks about how silly and goofy this movie is, but I almost was like wanting more. Like, so at times it was almost too heavy for me, or the things that they were playing with were like too serious in some ways. And I wanted it to be a little bit more goofy to justify some of these things that they were doing. But overall, it just still like it was, I would say it's a more positive watch. This is probably my most positive watch that I've had of it, and really being able to think about those aspects. So I'm actually going to echo Chris and say I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well.
Robert, your previous score. Did you know that?
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought it'd be lower, honestly. I
kind of did.
Robert, how are you feeling out of 5?
Oh, hello. Yeah, so this is, I mean, I wanted to revisit this one specifically for the 40th anniversary, and also it's like sort of one of our lost episodes. We had talked about it 11, 12 years ago, long time ago. So I thought it'd be worth discussing again and revisiting and reanalyzing. And it sounds like we had a lot of the same feelings. Maybe some things have changed. This is one I didn't technically grow up with, but have watched quite a few times. It's not one that I reach for all the time because it is a little heavy, but I think it is, again, just a really standout 80s classic. Like, this is the 80s version of Frankenstein, and if you want a Frankenstein movie that's got all the schlocky practical effects you could possibly want, and to swap out the word cunty with the word Cooter, the Cooterist of all Dr. Frankensteins you've ever seen in this movie. I think that just like strikes a tone that I generally really vibe with. I love the effects, the actors, the performances in this. It's also like a really breezy hour, 24 minutes. Like Randy said, it just moves and moves and moves. I'm kind of thankful they removed all of the like telekinesis, not all of them, but most of the telekinesis scenes, because it really I think it would stick out and be kind of bizarre. Introducing Barbara Crampton to the horror genre. Jeff Combs just like with his one-liners are just absolutely ridiculous in this movie. They crack me up consistently. Like the I gave him life at the very beginning of the movie. The way he says that shit. The I've never done parts. The what would the note say? Cat
Get
dead
a job in a
details later.
sideshow.
Exactly. Like it's just so good, man. I just love his performance in this. It really never does get old. Obviously, there are things that you can critique. There are things that they could have done better. But I think if you're primarily showing up for the schlocky gore and that kind of bizarre 80s vibe, this really hits that nail on the head. And I think that's primarily what they were going for. And if that's not what you're looking for, there's plenty of other Frankenstein movies out there, and you guarantee you can find one that really vibes with you. So overall, I mean, I'm going to do what the rest of you are too cowardly to do and give this a 5 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
Baby.
What's your pick?
Same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was.
Is that what Bob gave it back in the day too, Randy? Do you have the scores?
No, he gave it a 4 back in the day.
I did.
Oh, Bob, you've really grown as a person.
That's called growth.
Years. Yeah.
Not regression, I say. So yeah, that's going to put our aggregate for this film at a 4.1 out of 5. Let's jump over to our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users have to say about Re-Animator.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is on RottenTomatoes.com for Re-Animator. We're going to start, as we always do, with the critics or the tomatometer, and then we're going to move on to the users or the poopometer, the popcorn meter, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days. There are 70 ratings on this tomatometer. There's 70 critics counted. Out of those 70, we're trying to figure out what the percentage of positive reviews are. So why don't we start with our esteemed guest, Chris. Whoa. One beer. That's what it took.
Randy, you're wasted.
I know.
You're wasted.
I am wasted. All right, Chris, what do you think out of those 70 reviews, what percentage would you say are positive?
I'm assuming that a lot of the reviews that they have on there are probably newer reviews looking back on it. If they were reviews at the time, I would probably go a lot lower. I'm gonna go with the year it came out. I'm saying 85.
Ooh,
I think people are. I think critics probably understand what it is that they're trying to do and appreciate it now.
All right, 85 from Chris. We're gonna go to Justin in the middle here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that is tough because it is definitely got like that cult classic status or whatever. But critics can be harsh sometimes too. And I think I'm gonna go. We all gave it an aggregate, like close to an 80. I think I'll say 80, close to where
80?
we scored.
All right,
it.
we got an 80 and an 85. Bob, where are you coming in? Middle, over, under? What are you thinking?
yeah, this is. I don't know that this is really a movie that it's made for critics, but I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough one. I'll take the. I feel like I got to take the over still, so I'll take.
And take the boys.
I was thinking about it.
You have the option to take the boys.
I'll take the boys. I'll $1 Chris and go with 86 Project
86.
Project
Ooh,
86 it is. All right. Let's do some quick math here. Yeah, 8 percentage points difference between the correct answer and one of you. That correct answer is 94%. Rob's walking it with the boys this year.
Wow.
Woo.
Boys never let you down, Bob.
Oh,
Project
fuck
86.
yeah.
They only let
Still
you
gotta
down
get that Project
when they let you
86
down.
bump as much as we mention them.
Yeah, we probably should. Laziness is next to godliness, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
All right, let's move over to the popcorn meter, the poop meter, the critic, or the users rather. There are 25,000 plus ratings for the users. So we're going to go in reverse order here. Give Bob a first bite at the apple here. Out of those 25,000 plus ratings, what percentage would you wager are positive?
Let me bite the apple. Definitely going to be lower here. That's a lot of people rating this, and it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. So I will take a 75, please.
All right, 75. Juice, riding meat. What are you thinking?
Whoa, Mr. Meat. I think I'm going to double down and say 80. This is hard. The 94, I don't think it's going to hit those heights, but I still think people view it favorably. Like they're going to hop on Rotten Tomatoes and rate it. So I'll say 80 again.
Okay. All right. So we got 80 from Juice, 75 from Bob. Chris, bring up the rear here. What are you thinking?
I am threading the needle at 79.
Ooh. 9. All right. All right. So we got 75 with Bob, 79 with Chris, and 80 from Juice. One of you, just one of you, is 2 percentage points away from the correct answer. That correct answer is, of course, 82%. Soju's going to walk with this one.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Overall, very positive.
Yeah.
Close to where we put. Actually, that's right where we put it. 4.1 average. Whoa. There we are.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man of the people this week, boys.
Yeah. I love we're men of the people when we're exactly where the audience is, and when we're not, we're individuals who don't bend to the wind.
With our own thoughts, our own unique thought, of course. Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
It's a win-win.
The critics' consensus reads as follows: perfectly mixing humor and horror. The only thing more effective than Re-Animator's gory scares are its dry, deadpan jokes. I don't think that's too uncalled for. Yeah, personally. And now we're gonna read a couple of negative reviews just to see if there's any humor amongst them, because God knows it is borne out that they always do.
This is always
Here's
a
a negative
segment right here.
Oh, everybody loves this part. We get letters. Negative review number 1. It's the kind of flat-footed stuff that gives garbage a bad name.
Damn.
Flat-footed. Like
no
it's
better
not fit for
description
the
of
army.
this movie. This film is flat-footed. Did you know that? All right, one more. Because Re-Animator is so poorly acted and directed by Stuart Gordon, whose first film this is, there is no tension to break, so the gruesome scenes are just clinical and dull. Well, if I may, maybe somebody who ends a sentence on a preposition shouldn't be complaining about people's
Pinky's out.
Wow. You know what I am saying?
Professor Randy.
Deluded little Daddy.
Randy, you sound, as the kids say, cunty.
That's a pretty fresh new term I heard.
Oh man, the kids, they're really inventive. They can bring up these things that no one's ever seen or heard of before. Yeah, I think that'll do it for our Rotten Tomatoes segment. Bob, I don't know if there's any trivia left. I know you worked in a bit of it.
I got a few more things to talk about, so let's do it.
It's totally time for trivia.
Trivia. Yeah, there's like an endless amount of trivia on this, but I try to just cherry pick a handful of things here. As like I mentioned at the top, this is very loosely adapted from H.P. Lovecraft's Herbert West Re-Animator. It was originally devised by Stuart Gordon as a theatrical stage production and then later a half-hour television pilot, and then the television script was eventually revised to become this feature-length film.
Sorry, the television script?
Yeah, it started as a television pilot, and then they decided to not make a TV show, and then made this movie out of it.
I think they made some very decisive decisions about that based on what is in this.
I would.
It was
say
on
so.
Cinemax.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not TV, Bob. It's HBO.
It's
okay,
home box office. So allegedly, your boy David Bowie worked with cinematographer Mac Allberg on The Second Greatest Story Ever Told, Parts 1 and 2 from 1991. During filming, Bowie found out that Allberg had shot Re-Animator. He excitedly ran up and asked if it was true. Allberg said it was, and Bowie said, "That is my favorite film."
Wow.
Bowie's such man. What a G. Love that guy.
What a G, a proper G,
A G,
for
a
gentleman.
real
He's a
G. The kids
He's
say
a
that.
capital G. The kids taught me that.
The kids, they say
You're
it.
so old, Randy.
They come up with all these things. It's crazy.
Barbara Crampton, she did somewhat recently talk about doing the nude scenes in this and other movies. During a 2014 interview, this is a quote from her. She said, "Anything I did was always part of the film and part of the story. I don't think anything I ever did felt like I shouldn't be doing this, or I'm scared to do it, or that it would hurt my career if I do it. There are a lot of people who are movie viewers who have varying degrees on what they think and how they feel about sexuality and nudity. There's a lot of social and moral issues involved in people's minds and their upbringing. But for me as an actor, if it's part of the story, I'll do it, and I'll probably continue to do it. I don't know if anybody's ever going to see a wrinkled old grandmother Barbara Crampton, but if it's part of the story, I'll do it." So her words on it, sort of recently.
Man, I had it in my head that she had like been a little bit sour towards it, not like aggressively, but in my mind I was like not sour towards the movie, but just being that scene and like doing the exploitative nature of it. She's like, yeah, I thought I had heard her say something to the effect that like, yeah, I don't know, I didn't really love that they did that, or
Not
I guess
at all.
not. Like, based on that,
There's a commentary track for this with her on it, and she's like cracking jokes throughout that
okay,
scene.
all right.
Like,
Well,
she's
I misremembered that.
Pretty unbothered by it. I believe, Chris, you mentioned Stuart Gordon. Stuart Gordon's wife divorced him after this movie had come out. I read another trivia, and like, who knows, because this is all coming from the internet, that said the actor David Gale, who played Dr. Hill, that his wife, after the premiere screening of this movie, just like never went home again after she watched it.
Oh, dang.
So
Man, this is ruining lives.
I say somebody got divorced. Yeah.
And he's just like, worth it.
Yeah, mic drop. I mean, he played one hell of a villain, but like, if it's breaking up marriages, I don't know if it's worth it, you know?
Damn.
Yeah, so this is the last bit I have here. Also talking about the role of Dr. Hill. It was originally written for Christopher Lee, but he ended up turning it down, which Christopher Lee would have played the heck out of this role.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Look, I mean, I'm not upset with the performance we got, to be honest with you. He's very hateable. He does the job, but Christopher Lee would have been really cool. I would love to see the alternate universe version of this.
Should give it a couple more years, Randy. AI will take care of that.
Oh Christ! I regret everything.
Everything.
We're doomed.
You know, we're living in a society,
an AI society.
Hey, that's all the trivia I have. Let's go ahead and jump into our Cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice, would you kindly explain precisely what a cooter is and why we hunt them?
Oh, Bob, it would be my pleasure. Cooter is a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. This is what we really bring to the table here.
TM.
Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. The 5 points of cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, I feel like we've got a couple of cooters here in Re-Animator. Anyone want to take a shot first? Who should we start with? West? We want to go
It's
West
tough to
first.
say who to start with.
We can start with West. We got at least 2.
West, smug arrogance.
Check.
Oh.
Manipulation.
Check.
I feel like, I mean, Dr. Hill, though.
And then Dr.
Sexual deviance. There's his sexual deviance makes up for his lack of anything else on the
I don't even think
meter.
he's going to lack on anything else, but you're correct.
He might hit all 5, honestly.
Yeah.
So
He redefines giving head. It's fucked.
Whoa,
Randy.
Randy.
God,
I am. That's like the most
Go to your
derivative
corner.
hack joke imaginable.
Go to your
Fuck you
corner
guys.
now.
All right, so sexual deviance, super high. He also has the smug arrogance and the manipulation.
Yeah.
Overall look and attire, he's a walking head.
I love the look and attire of a body with a plastic head. I think that's
true.
looking great.
Yeah.
Personally.
But patheticness. He's actually
He steals
having a file of somebody's hair and shit
that,
is quite
And all of his entire celebrity, his entire career is based off other people's work.
Steals
Like,
That's true.
The only thing he allegedly invented was like a new way to lobotomize
laser,
people. Which is like,
that's true.
cool.
That's pretty sick, though. Huh?
Lasers.
It looks great.
Big lobotomy fan
Congrats.
over here.
Big, yeah. So actually, yeah, I think he hits the other 4 like super strong, and then I don't think West hits as high as him. So
Not on that.
yeah, I think Hill
Yeah,
takes the cake.
Dr.
Here.
Hill
King Cooter this week, I think.
hitting 4 out of 5
agree.
easily. Yeah,
I think
1
so.
through the roof, and then
Yeah.
West
Sexual
is-
deviance, the extra points from Randy there.
West is a
So,
bonus
Oh, yeah.
cooter. Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
We got him.
Well, I in any other movie, I feel like Herbert West would be a pretty solid lock for Cooter.
yeah.
So it's saying something that there's anybody that outstrips him here.
A heck of a villain in this movie, for sure. Cool.
All right.
I think we got him. Lock him up. Throw away the key. You guys want to talk about what else we've been watching this week?
Sure.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Chris, you been watching anything else good here lately?
Yes. And I wish I would have prepared for this because I'm having that thing where I'm drawing a blank on.
We can come back.
Yeah, we can come back to you, man.
Come back to me.
We
Come
did
back
not
to me.
tell you to prepare
Yeah,
for
that's
this.
on hard. And we don't
That's
do
on
it
him.
every episode.
We don't do it every
No,
episode,
come back.
yeah.
Come back to me. Yes.
Randy, what else you been watching this week?
Yeah, I've watched a few things. Well, first I'll start with something I've been playing. I mentioned UFO 50 not long ago. I've been playing a lot of those not mini games. They're kind of full games. I assumed it'd be like WarioWare, like game, blown out, but it truly is like a compilation of interesting small indie NES style games. Some of which are pretty ambitious. I think I mentioned Mini and Max, which was probably my second favorite so far. And then I started playing one that I had seen people talk about a lot, which Party House, I think it's called, which is a little bit of a puzzle game or whatever, a deck building kind of thing or whatever. And it's fun. I don't think it's as fun as the other two games. Night Manor and Mini and Max are still the top of the heap on that. But I've been enjoying that game overall in general, like a lot. I'd recommend. I think it's like $20 for Switch, which for a Nintendo product is pretty good right now. Like
it's not Switch 2 exclusive, right? Because I know you're running on Switch 2.
No. That's just what I have. It's on Steam. It's on all the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Okay. Yes. I did I did not finish this movie, so it tells you where I'm at with it. A movie called The Exam that Beck and I were just like, we'll throw this on. It was like a more recent movie. It's, I think, English movie about some people that are like up for some like sort of prestigious job that they don't know a lot about, and they're in this room. It's kind of like a less Art Deco-y version of the Men in Black training session, basically, and they are given very little information and told that you'll be eliminated if X, Y, and Z, and then they have to figure out what's going on. It was just not very good, man. It was like the writing was very painful. The acting was not much better, and it was the only thing that kept it going was the mystery of what this company is that they're trying to work for or whatever. It wasn't enough to sustain me, so we bailed on that. And now we get into some bummer territory. So I watched. I hesitate to even bring this up because I don't even really want to give this movie a lot of air. A movie called Megan is Missing, which I had heard. I knew by title alone on lists of like underrated found footage movies or found footage movies that flew under the radar or whatever. And I saw it on Tubi or some such. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll check it out. It's I'm looking for a spooky movie right now. It's Halloween season. I love found footage. That's known about me. So I'll check it out. And buddy, that is not a traditional horror movie. That is... So it's... oh, man. I don't even know where to begin. It heavily features sexual assault. Heavily. It is... I struggle to even talk about this. It might very well be the movie I had the worst reaction to out of any movie I've ever seen. Like we've talked about Salo, we've talked about Martyrs, we've talked about like a Serbian film. No shortage of some of the movies best known as the most disturbed film people have ever seen. I think this belongs in that conversation, and there was a key difference here in that I had no idea it was coming. I was expecting Unfriended, and that's not what this movie is at all. So
warning out
I
there.
don't recommend this to anybody. I kind of feel like this movie is right on the cusp of being something that I would tell people never like that I would actively roll against.
And just sitting there right on Tubi.
And it's just right on fucking Tubi, and it's got like goddamn like community college commercials in between and shit. Like, it's weird. And it's really like the thing is like this movie is like really kind of grim, dark, and horrible. It's about young girls that are being predated online and have not great home lives. And we get a lot of that information not up front, but like pretty early on, and we watch it, and it's very sad and horrible. And then it hits this moment, and I'm talking about like a single moment where shit jumps from really depressing and sad to like graphically horrible.
I think it's like Poughkeepsie Tapes-esque. I think it's like
I've never seen that one, so I can't speak to that.
But
like I know the reputation of that movie. I did not know what I was getting into with this, and that was a huge factor in it. I don't say this lightly. Like this, like I'm on a horror podcast. You guys know I've watched over 500 horror movies at least. I'm telling you, this movie is the only movie I can remember losing sleep over outside of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I first saw it at like 11 years old. I slept like shit that night.
You are selling me on this movie.
See, that's the thing, man.
Well, let's all go watch it now.
It really fucked me up, and I don't recommend it. So that's that.
Damn.
And then I washed that down with a lovely little piece called The Alabama Solution, which is a recent HBO documentary about the horrible, fucked up conditions of the Alabama Department of Corrections and the way people are treated in prison.
Randy,
It's like
you're
watch
you're
some
ruining your October.
I didn't choose that one for the record. It's a give
that was
and
a
take.
back
I live in a
watch.
relationship.
That sounds about right.
And
actually.
I get like Beck, great, mercifully for their sake, did not finish Megan is Missing. So the next night I was like, I need something light. I need something easy. Fucking Alabama Solution broke my heart again. I had to watch Garden
Randy,
Wall
you need to go
on
watch
the heels of both
Hocus
of these.
Pocus or some shit.
Yeah, for real, dude. I did reset with Over the Garden Wall. Thank Christ.
Oh,
but that's,
poor Garden Wall. That guy.
well, it was a welcome reprieve. I was
That's so
happy to
funny.
watch it.
Oh my God.
So those are the main ones, and then that's really it. Yeah, that's the majority of it. It was a fucked up week. It was not the spooky Halloween fun time I expected it to be.
Oh my God.
Well, Juice, what have you been watching?
Not too much, and a lot better than Randy. I rewatched The Batman because that starts off on Halloween night. That movie's awesome. I really like that movie. It's long. It is long. But it's really cool. It's got a lot of really cool moments, and I hope they followed up with a dope sequel. And then the only other thing I watched, so not too much, was Gonjiam, the Haunted Asylum, the Korean
Gonjiam?
movie. In Korean it's Gonjiam.
No, Randy said it correctly.
Gonjiam. Yeah.
Gonjiam.
Yes. Anyways, that's probably one of the closest things they have to a Halloween movie, because I think it takes place on like October 26th. It's like the anniversary. But yeah, it's a solid found footage Korean movie. That's all I've been watching. Bob, what you been watching, my guy?
Not a lot, man. As far as movies go, I just revisited Hocus Pocus and The Guest because 'tis the season. Outside of that, I just been in New York for a while. Went there specifically to see John Carpenter live in concert, which was super fun. He was up there with his full band, with his son and his godson, playing at this venue that was just this giant abandoned warehouse that they turned into a venue. It was cool. Massive. It was way bigger than I was anticipating it being. They played for maybe an hour and a half, and I played the hits for sure. The Fog, Halloween, Escape from New York, Christine, and The Mouth of Madness, and also played some of the songs that they've recently released on their Lost Themes records, which are like scores from movies that don't exist, basically, but they have that like John Carpenter kind of vibe. And they played at least one song that's coming off their record. I think it's coming out in February, they said, and it was a straight just heater, like just rocked the room, man. They sounded incredible, honestly. So I know they don't play a whole heck of a lot, but if you happen to get the chance to go see them, I would very highly recommend it. I was cheesing the whole time they were playing. They got the lights going on, and they've got a huge screen behind them playing like short little cut scenes from the movies. So yeah, it was great. That's really all I've been doing and watching. Chris, what you been watching, man?
Yeah. Actually, quite a few awesome things. I recently saw Lurker. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's I think it's just getting out of the theaters, but just came out, and just a really tense, interesting look at what happens if a fan of an artist is able to get themselves into that artist's inner circle of friends. And it is just one of my favorite things I've seen this year. Like it's really, really good. So yeah, I saw that. Last night I revisited La La Land for like the 10th time. I just think that's a perfect movie. I love it so much. Also watched today the first episode of Chair Company, which is Tim Robinson's new show on HBO, which is as weird as you would think it would be. And And then I last week had a friend of mine who hadn't seen Weapons yet, so I went and saw that again, which I really like that movie. So I was happy to be able to see it one more time in the theater before it's gone.
Wow, I'm surprised it's still in the theater. That's great.
Yeah, there was one. I live in a pretty small town in Florida, and there was a theater that was still playing it. So we hopped on it, which I was happy about.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, we do have 2 voicemails to get to, so let's jump over to our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Scream.
If you guys are listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. First up, we're going to hear from our friend, the librarian. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Hey, ghouls and gals. I'm here.
No, you're not.
I just muted myself. Anyway, hey, ghouls and gals. I'm here to talk about Re-Animator. This better be a ring-a-ding 5 stars because, God, what a perfect movie. Herbert West, you are my little gay boyfriend forever. He just has so many straight-up cunty lines, like, cat dead, details later. And in the beginning when he says, like, I gave him life. Like, okay, diva. And, of course, the most iconic line in all of cinema, which is, who's going to believe a talking head, get a job at a sideshow? Work, bitch! I love him. I could make him worse. The end. Bye!
See, that's how you spell validation right there.
The kids, they're saying it. They're out there saying
it. Kids.
I love the opposite of I could fix him. I could make him worse.
Yeah. That's our librarian.
Just embracing who your partner is, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Thank you. Thank you for that. That was fantastic. Love hearing from the librarian. Next up, we're going to hear from our biggest fan, Nos.
What's up, Straight Chilling crew? It's your biggest fan here again, Nos. And I hope I don't robot. I hope I don't robot out this time. Maybe it's because there's working in the streets and like the service cables and stuff are in there, so sometimes I lose service, so maybe it's that. So let's hope I don't lose service now. But to finish what I was saying, so I watched Hocus Pocus October 1st. I watched what was the second movie I watched again? Oh yeah, Wolfman. That movie was like total garbage. Wolfman 2025. I mean. Then third, I watched Corpse Bride. Soju told you all last week that was kind of disappointing, and I agree. It was my first watch. I heard so much about it, like good stuff and this and that, but I don't know. It felt short. Something short. I don't know what, but. That's it. Then the fourth, I didn't have time to watch anything because I went to a Pierre de Veil concert. It was awesome, and I loved it. Then the fifth, we watched It Follows. Great movie. Now I didn't watch anything since then because life, you know. Okay, but I'm planning on watching The Nightmare Before Christmas tonight. And then maybe, sad to say, but pirate VHS Halloween because Shudder doesn't exist in Belgium. Also, speaking of, I might be calling less than every week now because apparently calling from Belgium to America or the US is $5 for the minutes I call. So that's a lot. So I'll be sending emails when I sometimes I'll be still calling but also sending emails so that you still get your biggest fan every week.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But anyways, bye-bye, guys, and stay chilling.
That's so
$5 a
He's
minute.
been calling for like 3 months straight.
Sorry about your phone bill, buddy.
My dude doesn't check the bill that close, I don't think.
Oh my god. 3 things I need to address there. One is I think you can call from like Google Voice will give you like a free phone number, right? That's what we use for our
it's gonna attach us
for our so get
Google
yourself
account.
get yourself a Google number, my guy, and you can call free from there. The second thing is he oh wait, what was the second thing? I missed out on something. The third one is
viscerally reacted to Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, don't watch Nightmare Before Christmas yet. That's the first movie you watch heading into Christmas season. So save that for November 1st. You probably already watched it at this point, but
He's just such an orthodox horror fan. He must follow the rules.
It's how the people of Christmas Town experience Christmas. That's every Christmas movie. That's what Christmas movies are. How regular people experience Christmas. So save
Regular
it.
Skellington
November
haunted men.
1st.
Yes.
But there was one more thing, but it's fine, whatever.
Chris, do you have a specific time of year you prefer to watch Nightmare Before Christmas?
Easter.
It is definitely a Christmas movie for our household. Yeah, we lean more into Home Alone personally, not horror adjacent, but the top of the heap as far as Christmas movies go. It cannot be topped.
That kid's basically murdering people.
He's definitely a serial killer.
Yeah. Oh,
Beans,
especially when it gets into the sequel when he's throwing the bricks off the skyscrapers and just hitting him in the face. Oh, yeah, that's basically a horror movie.
Yeah.
There is that edit of Home Alone it's on YouTube that somebody made where they made it into a horror movie, which is one of my favorite things.
That is great. Yeah, that is very good. Nice night for a neck injury.
Better Watch Out is a good movie for you to watch this Christmas. I'm just going to let you know. Better Watch Out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, you mentioned It Follows too. It Follows. It might be a good rewatch for this year too. I haven't seen that in a little bit.
Solid stuff.
Cool.
Thanks for calling
us. Calling Google next time.
Yeah.
Oh, he was saying Shudder. That was the third thing. Shudder also too. So Shudder is also not in South Korea, but I just watch on a VPN. If you there's free VPNs, you can log in to like Virginia or like Oregon or something, and you can watch Shudder through there. That's how I watch it.
Virginia is for horror lovers. So
there you go.
Sign in there.
Precisely. Again, if you guys would like to call and leave a voicemail for next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Do you guys have any prompts you'd like to throw out there for next week's callers?
Ooh, what is it next week? Trick or Treat?
Trick or Treat 2007.
What's your favorite segment of Trick or Treat?
Yeah. Or also, too, I was going to say, what's your favorite, I think we've done this before, but what's your favorite candy to get, like, for Halloween? Like, what are you hoping you get out of the basket, you know? Or what's your least favorite, too? What do you hate to get? What do you love to get?
What's the weirdest thing you have ever gotten in your trick or treat bag? Because I've got, like, mostly I've got, like, the standard weird shit, like dental floss
is weird.
And, like, fruit, and one lady gave out pennies. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
these
nothing
people,
crazy.
they're out there, man.
I don't
they're
think
among
I ever
us.
got anything too crazy. They're among us.
You know what's super weird? It's like those sweet flavored flosses. It's like cotton candy floss. It's like, this feels like it's doesn't feel right.
It's not super weird, and it technically doesn't go in the bag, but there's a guy in our neighborhood that literally just hands hot dogs out to all the kids. He has his grill in the front. He's got a huge ice chest just full of uncooked hot dogs, and all night he's just grilling hot dogs.
Nice.
And all the kids that come by, he just hands them a hot dog.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. All right.
I bet.
You're giving them energy to keep going.
Balance out that
protein.
Yeah.
Iron helps us play.
Cool.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Call in. Let us know if you've got anything super weird in your bag, or if not, what your favorite is and what your least favorite is. So, yeah, we're talking about Trick or Treat next week from 2007.
Trick or treat.
And that one just got re-released into theaters, I think, this week. It might be playing in a town near you. So I
didn't know that.
You can definitely watch it at home, but you might be able to watch it in the theater if you'd like to do so. So check that out and get ready for next week's show. Again, Chris, thank you so very much for sitting in with us tonight. We greatly appreciated having you on, and hopefully you enjoyed your time with us, man.
That was awesome. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And
Chris, is there anything? Oh,
yeah. I was gonna say, is there anything you'd like to mention? Anything you got going on you want to plug?
I would say probably the only thing is the latest film that I scored just was released for streaming. It's called The Plastic Men. It's a Vietnam War era drama / horror film that if people want to watch that and listen to it and hopefully like the music, let me know what you think. Other than that, we're Under Oath is doing a couple things next year, but until the fall, we're being pretty quiet. So just hit me up on the internets. I'm all about chatting with people. So
awesome, man. Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks again, brother.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
So yeah, check out Trick or Treat. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Get a job in a sideshow.